Well, the Philadelphia Eagles are coming off their bye week first day of practice the other day. A lot to discuss, a lot to talk about. Nick Sirianni press conference and some troubling waters with a certain position with a specific player not being at practice. Is this a concern? A lot to talk about, so let's get straight into it all.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
I want to start off with some of the bad news. This was from the Cowboys and their young player in Marshawn Nealon that is got the punt block touchdown, for the Cardinals game. Looks like he passed away the other day, 25 years old, man. You don't realize what these players go through. I mean, look, you can make millions of dollars. You can make a good salary, by doing what you love the most, which is playing sports. And these are people at the end of the day that deal with problems outside of football. And I think we all have problems. We all have, some things that we deal with in our lives, and it was horrible. I'm not going to say what happened or what's official and what's not official. If you probably know the news by now, you probably know what happened. And that's just really unfortunate and really horrible. So prayers up for Marshawn Nealon and the Dallas Cowboys. It's a rivalry at the end of the day, but you don't want to see that, and it's happened way too much in sports, unfortunately. Hold your loved ones close. Always help a friend in need. You never know if people are quiet and they're not telling you specific things on what's going on in their lives. Always go to somebody and ask them how their day is going, and that's all that matters. So I want to kind of shout that out, and prayers up for Marshawn Nealon from Dallas. So that's just unfortunate. Now we go over Nick Sirianni's press conference. A couple of things to really take from it. One is talking about the newly acquired Jalen Phillips and that he's aggressive. He can get after the quarterback. He's a great pass rusher. And also talked about the learning curve is not there because he worked with Vic Fangio, was a player for Vic Fangio in 2023. So him getting more playing time is definitely going to happen. I think for Monday night, I think he'll be prepared because there's probably not much he has to do or learn since he's been with Vic Fangio before. So I thought that was really interesting. And I think we all kind of thought that as well. Remember back in 2024 when the Philadelphia Eagles had their bye week and it was a very productive bye week. And then, after that, they really played their asses off the rest of the year, got to a Super Bowl and won it. It looks like Nick Sirianni didn't waste any time this week inviting the coaches over apparently to his house, and they were going over game plan. They were going over coaches stuff, and can't really complain about that. I mean, at least they were productive for a day. I mean, the bye week is really just for getting guys healthy, and especially from a mental standpoint and recharging those batteries and kind of resetting yourself. So it seems like a very productive bye week for the coaching staff. Now, it looks like Nick Sirianni is going to be keeping close attention to the CB drills. And there's one thing that was kind of mentioned a couple days ago where there's different shapes and sizes at corner, and you can use specific guys for certain situations against maybe certain receivers and tight ends. And it almost sounded as if they're going to have some like CB2 by committee or something like that. Kind of mentioned that there's really no preference to that. I mean, I don't think you should have that because you really should have the number 2 guy that's going to stay as the number 2 guy, and that's pretty much it. Because now you have Michael Carter in the building, not only can play inside, Buck could play safety as well. You have Jair Alexander that can play on the outside. Let's see what he has left, and that's going to be a big question mark. Will Jacorian Bennett get a shot at this CB2 spot finally for this week against Green Bay, or are they going to stick with Ringo? And we really hope that's not going to happen. So the Eagles will pay close attention to the CB2 spot. I understand that Nick said DBs, but we all know that this is more than DBs. He's talking about that spot specifically. And going into practice, yes, we did see Jordan Phillips in his number 50 jersey. We did see Jair Alexander in his number 18. We did see Michael Carter on the field as well. And A.J. Brown was back on the field too, which is a really good start to this week of practice for that Monday night game, because before the bye week, A.J. has been dealing on and off with this hamstring, I think primarily since last year. And, hopefully he'll be good to go, ready for Monday, and it's a really good sign. Saquon Barkley was back at practice from the groin injury, and yes, I mean, it wasn't serious. Saquon said himself pretty much a day after the game that it wasn't that serious at all, so that's good. good. And, running back's going to be a very important and I think a really exciting position this week because we want to see if Tank Bigsby is actually going to get reps as a number 2 back from what he showed in that Giants game a couple weeks ago. And we really enjoyed it. Give me some Tank Bigsby. And Adoree Jackson is back with the concussion, so you have even more depth to your cornerback room, but you're hoping that Adoree will never, ever touch the field again. Now, the one player that's missing from practice right now is Cam Jurgens. He was nowhere to be found, nowhere to be seen. Apparently still has an ankle injury. It's an ankle. It's this. It's that. I mean, the good thing is we didn't hear about Dickerson. We didn't really hear about anybody else. So everybody else was present on the field. The Eagles did go out and they actually activated on the practice window Willie Lampkin. Okay, now Willie Lampkin was a center guard for the Rams. The Eagles acquired him off of waivers from the Rams when he was already hurt, and the Eagles took a chance to keep him in the building this entire time. So if Cam Jurgens can't really go this week, then I'm going to say it's going to be another Brett Toth week. And I got to say, Brett Toth did an amazing job in that last game. I understand that this offense has been very robotic, and we probably see that the handcuffs were on Jalen Hurts for a while. In the center spot, the offensive line has been very vulnerable because of some of the injuries and the guys not having rest. And especially Cam Jurgens, that really hasn't, since the back surgery last year, and then is dealing with all these small little injuries, this bye week that he really needed, coming back and still is dealing with an ankle, not at practice at this point. The Eagles might have to turn to a couple other players now. Activating the practice window for Willie Lampkin is great because I think this is a project for the next couple years, for Stout and to see where he's at. So I'm not expecting too much from Willie Lampkin from his first week of practice in literally weeks. So don't expect too much. I think the one player that really hasn't made any noise at center that I'm kind of surprised he's not kind of up there right now is the 6th-round pick in Drew Kendall from this past year. He was the backup to Jurgens in the offseason program, and then they got to the regular season, and maybe he just didn't look good. Maybe they didn't like what they saw from him, maybe from training camp, things like that. So Drew Kendall, I was really rooting for the kid, and I'm hoping that he can make some noise and maybe get the 3rd spot if possible. If he can't get, beat Toth out of the backup job or something, I don't know. Not saying that center is a mess. I mean, thank God you have Toth because the guy has had a lot of starring experience. The guy has had a lot of playing time in the league, especially for the Philadelphia Eagles, and we know he's a better center than a guard, and it seemed like it has worked out, and I think it's going to get better. And if he has to start on Monday, it's Brett Toth again, I guess. Well, other than that, guys, there really wasn't much else, but we have a few more days of practice, which is good. And we're hoping to see more of Jalen Phillips and how he's progressing within this defense. Brandon Graham, this would be his 2nd week of practice coming back. So hopefully, he'll bring this defensive line a little bit more juice, and I can't wait to see more of it. And like I said, CB2 is going to be a big one this week because if you're asking me who's starting this week, I have no idea. Now, I don't know if Jair Alexander is going to be behind because this is a new defense for him. I don't know. He's got Christian Parker at his side when he was in Green Bay and now at the Philadelphia Eagles, so I'm not sure how much that's going to speed that up. Is Jacorian Bennett going to get a shot? CB2 is the most important position this week we really have to keep eyes on. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Is Cam Jurgens not being on the field really hurting us at this point? Should the Eagles have not given him an extension? Because I've seen some people kind of complain about it. Is he injury prone? What's going on? You guys let me know in the comment section below on that. And who's the starting CB2 this week? You guys let me know on that as well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. And make sure you hit the like button for more Eagles news every single day. Remember, shake, squat up, follow, slide. Peace out, guys.